Good afternoon. My name is Sean McGuire. I'm the Executive Director at the Albany County Land Bank Corporation. It is 3:03 p.m. on Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. We're calling to order a meeting of the Land Bank's Acquisition and Disposition Committee. We're holding this meeting remotely per New York State Open Meetings Law, and this meeting is available on the Land Bank's YouTube channel for listening and viewing. Today on the call we have participating from the committee, Natisha Alexander and Joe Seaman Graves. Sam and Charlie are absent. The Land Bank staff, we have everybody except for Will. Will is still away with his young family, so I look forward to welcoming him back soon. The agenda was circulated to committee members ahead of time and contains a number of items. Because we have a committee of 4, our quorum would be 3 to make some decisions. So I think at this point we'll dispense with the minutes, but if you have any questions, suggestions, or amendments to the minutes, we'd be happy to take them now, and then we'll bring those back up in the July meeting for adoption. Otherwise, go ahead, Joe, you have any comments on that?
I was just going to say nothing here.
Okay, thank you. Otherwise, we'll move past that, and then we'll get into the balance of the agenda here. Just give me a second. Switch some screens around. All right, from the Acquisition Disposition Committee packet, we have a few items here. We'll start with the new, we have no new acquisitions, so the new dispositions, we have 3 that we've taken applications in on. I'd like to go over with you. The first is going to be 405 Sand Creek Road, and it says the city is Albany. That's the mailing city. Actually, it's in the town of Colony. It's a residential vacant lot that we've owned since, I believe, 2011, or sorry, it was foreclosed on, I believe, in 2011, and that we've owned since 2018. We received an application from somebody who would like to do a community garden on the site. This is a very narrow lot, 152 feet long by 30 feet wide. Some of the staff concerns is that it's uncertain whether the community garden will be permitted at the location, and the applicant has not presented zoning verification. So we're not recommending any action on this one. We're certainly not recommending approval. We'd actually suggest that we do an outreach to the neighbor for a potential sale. We have notes in the file that this one has been had some neighbor outreach in the past, but I don't know to what extent that was. Looking at it, we don't have any expenses for lawn mowing, but the property is maintained. We do cover it with insurance for about $160 a year. So it probably, I believe the neighbor is maintaining that. We look at the lot just on the other side of it where there's another house. It's got a similar configuration with a home lot in the back and a small strip of land towards the front. That's probably a leftover piece from a subdivision. It's in common ownership. Probably what happened here was that house was sold for some reason. That either the folks who lived in that house decided not to take the lot, or it wasn't transferred at the time. So that's what we would do there is see if the neighbor would be interested in it. If not, if we don't get any interest from the neighbor, this would be something that I would suggest that we also approach the town of Colony about, since it's right along their right-of-way at West Hearthstone Drive, and see if they might be interested in acquiring it for $1 plus closing costs, which has been a past practice.
Sean, my only comment here is if we haven't been paying for mowing costs, do we have like a value of what that would be since we've had this property? And I guess what I'm getting at is if we approach the neighbors and say, sell it for $1 plus closing costs, but they've been maintaining it for us, would we look at potentially waiving that?
I think we could probably, I think the board could consider that, if they provided a statement saying that, what they do and how often they do it, we could evaluate that against what our typical maintenance cost is for mowing a lot. Lynette's saying it's $40 a month for mowing. So on a lot like this, yeah. So if you take that, if we're having to mow 6 months out of the year, $240, and we've been holding this for 7 years, we'd also have to take a look, and I'm looking at Susan in the room, because we probably have to take a look to see who lost that lot, because my assumption is it wasn't transferred, but it could have been, and the neighbor's like, I'm not gonna pay for that anymore.
Do that.
Yeah. If that's the case, then we have a bigger issue, and that's probably just something we send to the town.
Point. Okay.
All right. Any other questions on that one? And then do you want us to change anything on our recommendation? All right, I'll move on to the next one. This is 8 Westbrook Street in the city of Albany, off of Crumpkill Road, just inside the city line for the town of Bethlehem. The it's a residential vacant lot. We describe it as narrow and deep, but it's 120 feet long by 179 feet wide. We did have an applicant who's not sure what their intended use is. We've tried to discuss the potential opportunity to either maintain a lot as open space with a potential option to construct a home in the future, but we haven't gotten that answer back. I think right now, our recommendation is to table the application until next month to allow time to establish what the intended use is. I will say that when we look at the properties that the county is holding, there are a few others around here that, should go together. If we do take if we take some of those 96 properties in, there are some that are adjacent to here. So I think we're just waiting to hear back from the applicant. So that being said, I guess we recommend tabling the application, but if by the board meeting they confirm that they either want to build a home on it at some point or they just want to maintain it as green space, the committee comfortable with modifying the recommendation to sell the lot. Otherwise, we would wait till we see if those other lots come in from the county and actually probably merge those together in the process.
You might.
So we'll stick with oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say I'm okay in one respect selling it, but if the other ones did come to us, they would likely have to be merged with this to make any sense anyway.
Yeah. So maybe, given that, let's not do anything before this next board meeting. Let me talk to the county when we might facilitate a transfer of those other properties. And then in that process, get these all joined up and then put that together.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, because I hate to sell this one and then have the other ones come up around it, and then the new owner doesn't want to take it on. So if we can get them all in, consolidate them, and sell them back out as one piece, that'll solve 6 problems.
Yeah, or maybe if there's just an option or something that they would look at these if we were to get them in the future. I don't know if that's something we want to pursue.
Yeah. We could also talk to the county too about how they might. Well, we just have to have a conversation with them about that transfer. That's the unknown on whether we act now or later.
Sure.
All right, we'll keep it in a holding pattern. All right, and then we'll go down to the next one, 257 Second Avenue. This is a single-family home. It says vacant lot on the list there. Just disregard that. But this is 257 Second Ave that we've been working on. It's finally ready to be sold. We've had some active showings with this. Ended up receiving 4 applicants to submit applications. We were able to qualify 2 of those, applicant 2139 and applicant 2141. There's 2 other applicants there. 2140 wasn't financially eligible once we did the review, and then 2138 had an incomplete application. They were missing the HUD course certificate. They also didn't have a pre-qualification loan letter, so we couldn't vet out whether they were actually ready and prepared to purchase this home. So we're recommending that at the board meeting, we do a lottery for applicants 2139 and 2141 to select the buyer and the alternate buyer.
No, I got no issues there.
All right, so that's it for A and D. We expect to probably have next month we'll have more properties. Just to update the A and D committee, we didn't have any buildings until recently, and so as I updated the board at the last meeting, we were looking at properties that were sort of in this not available status to figure things out. And did we get 9 properties out of there, I believe, Lynette? 10? We were able to get 10 properties from not available status and posted those in this month's sales cycle. And we've been getting interest and actually applications coming in quickly. So 157 Homestead has had a lot of interest. 202 Kent Street has had some interest. 543 Clinton Avenue has had some interest. And then, which leads me to the last couple of items on the agenda. 543 Clinton Avenue, that was a purchase that we got a judgment on to return that back to us through an enforcement action because they did not do what they needed to do. So that has come back to the land bank, and we quickly put that back up and out there to find somebody to take that on and get that property cleaned up. And so I know we have at least one offer in there, hoping for more to come in. 557 South Pearl Street, that's the Cherry Hill property, correct? So we're still working with them on that. And then the other 3, Babcock Street, Clinton Avenue, and 3rd Street, you know, the applicant's intended use are not going to, you know, fly with those. So I don't, at this point, we're just going to recommend that we continue to take no action on those. We can certainly deny them and bring that up at the board meeting that we're not, you know, we're disapproving the applications and sort of putting, you know, putting an end to that one. But yeah, the uses there weren't consistent, and we haven't had a lot of much more success trying to turn that around. So that's where we are with A&D tonight. Any questions?
No, I just want to say thank you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping your conversations with the county, is there any updates on maybe when we expect to see things starting to move again?
I gotta at least see one auction. You know, I've had some other conversations with our partners of the county. I think they're still working through some of the process on, you know, 1 auction, 2 auction, what properties are clearly under, you know, so far underwater that they're not going to achieve something.
Okay.
Achieve something at auction that would cause a claim on excess equity.
So still in development, the whole process.
Still in the process, yeah. I mean, the county has a new disposition plan, but, and that was only passed, I think, February or March. So now that they had that plan, they were able to take the next steps. And I know what I was told is that they were doing the title work on this, and it was a little difficult to find title companies that were, you know, interested in doing all the searching, because that is what they use to generate the notices, the tax notices. So,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. All right, with no further business before this committee, we'll have the committee stand adjourned at 3:17 p.m. Enforcement and compliance will be at 3:30. If you're here